everybody, what's up? I'm your pal Wes, and today we're taking a look at this thing, which is called Polynator. It makes this thing polyphonic. Polynator is a unique little piece of software made by a company called Per-Sonal Audio. Per-Sonal Audio. I think it's got a lot of potential, some tricks up its sleeves, and fun on a bun ability. Let's just take a quick look at it, and you can decide for yourself if you think it's chill or... Alright, so here's the basic setup to get Polynator working. You're going to need a Digitakt, some sort of MIDI controller. You're probably going to need some sort of like computer gadget. No, you're definitely going to need a computer. One of the limitations is you need to run this software on a computer, so you're not going to have a lot of luck not using a computer. Once you open up Polynator, there's a lot going on here, right? What we need to focus on is options, audio MIDI settings, make sure Arturia key step, that's this thing, is our input, and MIDI output is the Elektron Digitakt. That's that thing. This is a pretty fresh new project. I haven't changed any MIDI settings or anything like that. So bada bing, bada boom, we're looking at that. And now, wait. Listen to that beautiful polyphony. Look, chord mode works with it too. We're probably going to need to set up the Digitakt to work as a synthesizer. If you've never done this before, it's incredibly easy. All you got to do is load up a single cycle waveform and turn the loop mode on the sample page. And if you don't know how to do that, here's a real quick rundown. In every Digitakt, if you go samples folder, you'll see that, look, I'm already in there. Bam, 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 bam. There's going to be a factory folder. And in that factory folder, there's going to be a toolbox folder. And in that toolbox folder, you know what the heck there's going to be? There's going to be noise, and there's going to be oscillators. And these are going to be single cycle waveforms here, right? So they sound like this. Not very fun. You're going to want to turn on the forward loop mode. Now we've got a sound that sounds a little bit more like a synth. We can check out a few other ones. Oh, wait. That one, I think, is the winner there. And now we can... Oh, wait. We still can't do that. Hold on. Let's come and take another look over at Polynator, right? We've got signal going from one thing to another thing. That's good. That means we're in the right place here, right? This top row of dials up here is what you're really going to want to be concerned with here. MIDI channel 0 is Omni mod CC. That is the CC that the mod wheel is going to do. So that's important. We've mapped that to frequency right here. I think it comes mapped to resonance, but that's silly. I want it on frequency. So woo, 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 woo. I love how we can see it. That's very nice. And then voice start, that's just where it starts the chord, which is pretty cool here, right? So you could have, you know, voice start on 1 here with that one that we just made, and then have a 3-voice synth with voices, how many voices you had, and then you could go up to like 5 or 6 and then have a different synth over there, right, if you really so wanted to. Voices, of course, we just said how many voices you're voicing, and then pitch bend velocity is kind of, you know, the velocity output, and then track and TR8S kit, I feel like this is some other stuff here for the other functions of this device, which is to do the same polynatingness to the TR8S and the TR6S, which is pretty cool, but I don't have any of those, so I can't tell you how well it works here, right? So that's basically Polynator. Down here you've got some LFOs, but these can be a little dangerous, honestly. They can do a lot of LFOing to your patch, and if you're just scrubbing through CCs like I might have been, it could just totally make everything wonky. So I would, be careful with that. But you do have 4 of them. They're very cool when they work. Like I said, I've been having some trouble. I found them fun when doing some weird sound design stuff. Maybe here. The last things I'll say about the Polynator application itself is that you have these presets up here for Digitakt, whatever. I wouldn't fuck around with clock input. That's done nothing in my experience so far. And when you go into setup here, you need to make sure that you have a sample rate and an audio buffer size, just for the latency, I believe. So you need to have something selected as like your audio output, even though no audio is happening. If you turn this off, it'll just stop working. So I don't know why that's what's going on there. I have a few guesses, but I didn't make this, so yeah. And then just so you know, setup and options are nearly the same menu, so that's kind of cool, I guess, but whatever. Whatever you do, don't ever push this test button. This one right probably here, don't ever push it. Don't ever push that button, okay? I'm not gonna tell you what it does, just don't push it. If you don't wanna believe me and you wanna go push it, go for it, okay? Go, push it. These little hexagons represent the tracks on your device. So if you want, whatever's going on, like this LFO to, hit these ones, you gotta turn on the little hexagons and little honey cells, I guess you could call them, right? I think that everything else about this application is pretty self-explanatory. You've got some MIDI CCs up here, but it allows you to do cool stuff. And that cool stuff primarily is being polyphonic on the Digitakt. So let's get this rocking here, right? All right, still doesn't sound very good because we need to take this sound, right? That really kind of shrill sound right there. And what we want to do is hold track and hit copy, so we can just copy the sound, and then we'll go to 2 and 2 and track paste, 3 and track paste. And now we can turn on chord mode. That's some pretty chordly action here. Let's kind of make a little bit of patch. You're gonna have to hold track a lot when you're making these patches because you want to affect everything all at once here. So let's give a little bit of filter. All right, yeah. So that's sounding pretty cool here. Maybe a little bit of release and sustain. So it's only ever going to play 3 notes, but you might see down here, it's going to like round robin them. We could even, maybe track, copy, paste. Let's add 1 more voice in. Go to 4 voices. I have the aftertouch on this keyboard like cranked, so it is very, very responsive to that. I don't know how to change the aftertouch. So to the surprise of no one, the Digitakt is actually an incredibly dreamy sounding polysynth, right? If we were to turn up the delay a little bit, throw a little bit of reverb on there, and then, maybe dial in those sounds ever so slightly. big fan of that. Another thing that I really like is coming in, turning on a little bit of sample rate reduction. You can take some of the oomph out of the low end there, and then maybe take that post filter, right? A little bit more subtle. Alright, this is coming, this is getting pretty good here. So get that. And then what else is cool is that you can kind of, per voice, set little tiny little quirks and, you know, like little imperfections. And then another thing that I really love is, of course, you can hold track and just change to a totally different new waveform here. Oh, where are you going there? So we could do like, what is hollow? What does less sound like? We could turn chord mode off too. All right, it's polyphonic Digitakt. What else do you want? All right, so we've got a polyphonic Digitakt now, and I would encourage you to just play around. There's a ton of fun ideas that can come from just being able to manipulate a sampler like this. You could stack bass drums, you could play around with, especially now, the repitching modes and things of that nature. All of this stuff kind of breaks this program and the Digitakt, but it's fun, and you'll get cool sounds out of it, and I've gotten some fun sounds out of it. But also, what we can do is make a synth playing to the strengths of the Digitakt as a sampler. And what I mean by that is we could load up an interesting sample, spread it all over the place, and then create really unique and cool textures. So I'm just gonna do that right now. I've got this sample. All right, and what I'm gonna do is track copy, track paste, track paste, track paste, and we can see it kind of moving at different speeds through the waveform here, right? So that gives me kind of a unique, fun idea. What if we made the length of this just this guy right here, and then we looped something, you know, a little bit before that? What would that sound like? Well, we'd need to turn it on loop mode, wouldn't we? All right, so now what we'll get is something kind of cool and fun. I think if we were to so we can see that we've got these little looping, repeating bits. And they're very fun, and they're very nice and light and floaty. And I like them a lot. And this is the type of thing that you can now play and have fun with. And the Polynator is a funky little application. It performs very well. It works for almost everything that I've wanted to do. It's a lot better than the initial version that I tried. The person who makes it is pretty cool. They seem dedicated to making, you know, improvements. So let's go take a look at their website here. Bop, bop, bop. All right, so this is them, and I gotta say, listen, I'm really not loving the AI art, but you know what? What can you do? All right, if it was me, I would do something different, but it's not me, so yeah. The wonderful person who made this program let me try it out, and I would say I think it's worth it. It's pretty cool. All right, pictured here is the original version of Polynator. Let me know down below if we like the bees more or we like the bees less. I'm kind of partial to the bees. They get the message across. Polynator, pros, fun, easy relatively to use. Does what it says it does. Let's see what else. We got honeycomb design, like that, like the bees.
Bees make honey.
We're all about the bees. Cons, however, we'll just go over a brief con list here because we did a pro list. You're gonna need a computer to be talking to the Digitakt the whole time you want to use this. That kind of stinks. You can record in sequences, but you know, whatever. 2, AI art. Not a fan, bud. We gotta do something about that AI art. Maybe, you know, let's elevate that to a real graphic designer. Maybe even just a friend that can, you know, paint something for you. All right, and that's about all I got to say. I just kind of wanted to show off this little guy and, you know, maybe say a few things. And I've done all of the above. And you know what? If you're still here, you could subscribe or like. I make a lot of stupid ass fucking content that fucking sucks. Or you could drop a comment down below. Tell me about how much you like banana pudding, or what your stance is on banana nut ice cream, or if you're a fan of banana bread, maybe. I don't know. You could tell me whatever you want. Throw it down in the comments. If you're allergic to bananas, get the fuck out of here. Just leave.